I was getting ready for the stream.
Yep. All right, here we go. Let me get adjusted here.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
We're so
we did
fucking
not
stupid.
have good clips last week
We did not.
because there was a lot of potty words. How many?
Who did that?
How many might you ask?
Who did
Over
that?
30. So.
Oh,
we
wow.
have
Who
to-
did that?
Yeah, it was definitely not me.
Guys, you got to stop using potty words.
Yeah, stop using potty words. No, chat's fine.
No, you can't blame me for that. It's all their fault.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So we got to work on it. It sucks because we can't make it into like digestible comment. There was a comment on one of our videos,
Oh, yeah?
by the way, on YouTube.
Oh,
We should
yeah?
talk about that right here at the
Okay.
beginning. So hold on a second, because I don't know. It's not my world, right?
Okay.
So hold on a second here. YouTube.com. We're gonna pull up our comment on this. You know, because comments when you're getting started and stuff, like
That's a big deal.
it's like, okay, someone found this, and so it's interesting, and I want to know, how do you look at
Which one of y'all found us? You just go up to your notifications at the top and then look at your comments.
Oh, there we go. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Recommended. No, those are recommended notifications. Where is the thing where someone commented on there? Okay. Hiram Bifidum. So I don't know if you know this person or not.
Not at all.
Okay. I'm scared to read this because I don't know if any of it's offensive. I'm a momback
A mom?
/ STADT specialist.
No idea.
And I wear a purple clown costume, and I went to school to be a better refuse collector and finagler. Does that make stolen valor? Does anybody know?
What?
I don't know. What are those things?
I
I'm gonna Google those.
I don't know what that is. So so here's the thing, guys. I am a stupid grunt. I'm a smart grunt, but I'm a stupid human overall.
Hold on. So when I Googled that,
Okay.
it corrected it. Has something to do with Germany.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that.
No.
I want to just reply no. Because I don't understand.
Can you elaborate what your job is?
I wear a purple clown costume, and I went to school to be a better refuse collector and finagler.
What is the first letters?
What do you mean?
It says he's a what?
Momback.
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 Momback, okay.
/ STADT.
STADT.
Specialist.
Specialist.
And I wear a purple clown costume, and I went to school to be a better refuse collector and finagler.
You should put directions unclear, wiener stuck in toaster.
Yep. Directions unclear. Wiener stuck in toaster.
That's it.
And then ceiling fan. I gotta have my own spin on it, you know. All right, so yeah. Anyway, good morning, everybody. How's it going? Good morning, chat on both YouTube and Twitch. We are live. Good morning, Jax. Good morning, Josh. Hope you all are having a great day. It has been 1 week since he looked at me. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not gonna do that. See, another song. We sing like when we're here in
All
this
the
room, like getting
time.
set up. Every sentence triggers a song, and then we start singing it. It is
Dude, it's
absolutely ridiculous.
It's obnoxious sometimes to other people, but we get it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's fun. I enjoy it. I don't have a problem with it at all.
Yeah.
So, so a couple of new features.
How bizarre! How bizarre!
What was the one that we did? Is like, so like if someone says so like if someone's like my wife and I'll start going ba-dum, or we'll go ba-dum, you know.
I do that one. I go, but
Anyway,
Oh, man.
So check this out. New feature. When we are talking about something, we can now show you what we're talking about.
show me the money.
So you can now
Money,
see
money,
what
money,
we're looking at on
money.
Twitter and stuff. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So
It's huge.
It's nice. Giggity.
It's huge.
Not like my hands.
We put up a scene. We put up an extra state and it's gonna be huge.
I actually want to talk about something that just like off the cuff because this happened. Is like liberals specifically are always like, don't body shame, right? Like if someone's really fat or whatever, they don't want you to fat shame, they don't want you to body shame when you do all these things. But then when Trump became president, like for the first
look at this Cheeto.
Look at this Cheeto, and then on top of that, they were like, look at his tiny little hands. I bet he has a tiny wiener. Like they were making all these weird insults to him, and I was like, you literally are the people that talk about not body shaming people.
Also, if you have like $17 billion, you can have a tiny wiener.
Yeah, I can tiny wiener because I can pay someone to do what I want them to.
Right.
Look,
or I got a tiny wiener. I don't give a fuck. I got $17 billion.
Yeah,
do you?
Yeah.
No.
Or if you have a tiny wiener and you also have tiny hands, it's
proportional.
Scaled. Yeah, who cares? I don't understand.
What if you have a tiny hands and a real big wiener?
But do you think, how tall is Trump? He's like
6'2".
Yeah, 6'2". No, I think he's taller. I actually think Trump is like 6'4".
I think he's 6'2".
Because he's a tall dude. Hold on. How tall?
Judging by him leaning down talking to Macaulay Culkin.
He's 6'3".
He's 6'3". I was close. We were both close.
We're sitting on the 1 inch on the boat. So that's a tall guy. Like, that's a big guy. Chances of him having a very small wiener.
Slim.
Pretty slim.
Yeah.
Just by pure, like, proportionality.
Right.
I mean,
I don't know.
I'm just going to help them out here with
the only thing I have a problem with Trump's appearance is like, dude, if you fix your fucking comb over, man.
Who?
Trump.
Oh, I was like,
no, not you. Him. Trump. That's what I'm saying. That's the only problem I have. It's not even about him as a person or like how he looks. Just do better. Just brush.
Well, I think that's the thing is that he doesn't have a lot. And I don't care. Like, I really don't care. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't care. I mean, I just...
Do you know what other president we had that was bald? George Washington.
That's
Dwight
true.
D. Eisenhower.
Yeah.
Eisenhower's bald, dude.
On,
one of the greatest tacticians of our time. Bald.
So here, let's...
Call in reinforcements.
Bald presidents. Bald presidents. Is that Carter?
Yeah. Jimmy Carter.
That's Eisenhower. There's Eisenhower. Look at that.
Look at how bald he is.
Yeah, he's a bald guy, man.
He's gorgeous.
There's a picture, someone photoshopping Joe Biden to be bald. That's pretty.
Wow.
He kind of looks like Picard a little bit.
Who, Eisenhower?
No, Joe Biden up here in the top left. See that picture?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's Hold on. I got to pull this one over for chat. Oh, wait, you might be able to see it. No, you can't. Look at Hillary Clinton bald. That's hilarious. And Donald Trump bald.
He is bald, though. Like, let's just be
right.
real.
Yeah. So, but anyway. But yeah, so what's going on, chat? How's everybody doing? Anything happening that you guys want to talk about? Hey, Vanessa, what's up?
Hi.
Good morning.
We're on the two opposite sides of the spectrum for coffee.
I squirted some out trying to be dramatic.
I saw that.
It went right here. You guys didn't see it because it was too far out. I was trying to be dramatic and drink it silly, and it was silly because coffee went everywhere. But yeah,
so
man, I like.
You've got iced coffee, which is like cream and milk.
Well, what's really funny is when you
and
look
1
at this,
pound sugar.
No, I don't put sweetener in. So
you don't have to. They do it for you.
No, I ask specifically. I want iced coffee and cream only. There's no sweetener.
There's sweetener in their coffee.
I promise you.
I promise you it's in their coffee blend.
Take a sip of that and tell me that there's sweetener in that outside of the cream.
Yes.
There is sugar in the cream. Like the cream itself has glucose, if you will.
I need
it's
real
so
coffee,
good.
chat. Hold on.
It's so good. And it also depends. Caffeinated milk. Hey, you know what? If that was a thing, like if I could just go get a jug of milk with caffeine in it, I wouldn't need coffee.
Just buy a gallon of milk and drop a couple caffeine tablets in the bottle.
I just take I have Jet Alert, dude. Jet Alert, in my opinion, is perfect. It's only like 65 milligrams or 100 per little tablet.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to like get that little surge.
Don't take 4 of those before a road trip.
Yeah. I had this one I got from GNC that was
I learned that
200.
from experience.
For some reason, like when you drink a 200 milligram energy drink,
yeah,
it takes time because you're drinking the thing. It's not like you slam the whole thing.
Yeah.
When you take a 200 milligram tablet, it doesn't matter. It's just the other machine.
Okay.
It's not doing anything. It's only on so that we can control that. That's it. That's literally the whole purpose of this machine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, so like I took a 200 milligram tablet, man. When that hits you, it's like it just burrows into your veins immediately, all 200 milligrams, and I don't do well with it. So that's why I like the 100 milligram. It gives me the shoot of it. That's right, Vanessa.
There is no iced coffee that's amazing. It's coffee.
Mm.
It's a hot bean soup. That's what it is.
Hot bean soup.
It's hot bean water.
But don't put it in chili because then Josh will have an aneurysm.
Your Josh or my Josh?
Your Josh.
Yeah.
My Josh will just say that it's like a racist constitutional issue. And
Anarchy!
And Trump is still the president of the United States. I'm just kidding. He doesn't say that. And nor do I agree. I don't suggest that ever. But yeah, so when I was a kid, I was trying to show my daughters, and they didn't really like it, but I would catch fireflies, and they were all happy. I just took one and smeared it on my arm so that my arm was glowing.
Oh, no.
And they were terrified. I was like, but my arm's glowing. It's cool. But
no, Dad, that's creepy,
murder.
Dad. That's
murder.
You just rubbed the animal's butt on your skin after you killed it.
Very weird. I'm not gonna lie, chat. Mac and I are not very prepared with topics because there isn't like a lot of stuff happens, right? We're in a different age, right? Wouldn't you agree that like it seems like something happens every 2 hours, right? Like something's happening every 2 hours. We could talk about the thing you sent me on DMs, the TikTok thing.
Which one?
You did send me a lot. The one about
the murder?
The murder /
brother.
Like we'll try to use terms that skirt around it, right? Because I wanted to be able to, but like I didn't like that video. I'm gonna tell you the other way. Like I didn't like the video went, right? Like the way that she was going about it.
No, I hated that video. But
very
it was more of the informatics behind it that I was like
what she was talking about, right? And that's something I also want to talk about too. There's a nuance in how we talk about things that people need to understand where we're coming from. Yeah. I'm not here.
I came from my mom.
Yes. I came from a lab. Or at least last year there's something constantly. Yeah, no, I mean 4 years. I mean with Trump it was like Trump didn't get his nails clipped today, or
Donald Trump picked his nose.
Yeah, he picked his nose. I picked my nose. I don't care.
Donald Trump blew his nose into a handkerchief.
I mean, literally, there was like that 1 week where it was Donald Trump put ketchup on his steak. Donald Trump gave a sports team in McDonald's in the White House.
There was the literal headline: Donald Trump salutes Marine without a tie on.
Oh, right. That's what I'm saying. And then it was like Melania Trump did this, and then like she'd wear a jacket, and then it was anything. Hey, what's up, watermelons? Welcome from Australia.
Welcome from Australia, dude.
I will try to refrain from making any Australian jokes because I usually like to be like, see, I'm not even gonna do it because it's just bad.
My brain instantly went, a dingo ate my baby.
Right? Yeah. Sorry, that's not. I know. I would hate to be because it's like. What do you say when an American comes in? Like if America,
fuck,
welcome, welcome from greetings from the United States of America. They'd be like, great,
oh god,
great, right? Ours is like all these stereotypes that aren't even real about the country, right?
I don't even have any bacon grease, like,
yeah, right? Yeah. So anyway, welcome here. We are a show that talks about kind of like what's going on. It can be pop culture. It can be politics here in the United States. We don't really talk about like international stuff because frankly, I don't really care unless it's something that impacts America. Right. So, I mean, if Mac wants to talk about it, we'll talk about it in our capacity. I feel bad for the Americans. Use legit. Yeah, that happens. We definitely have that happen every 4 years, I would argue. Doesn't matter who it is. But yeah, so I feel like what we talk about is it just depends. But so I got sidetracked. Where was I going earlier with what we're gonna sidetrack talk about? Oh, so the way that we talk about things is we're not here to
take sides.
Take sides. We're not here to program. Like we obviously have our opinions, we have our stances, but we're not like here to make you like. The only thing that we're here to do is to work out our own thoughts on it. I'm not here to like influence you in some way.
And provide the raw information.
And try and find as much raw information as possible because sometimes it's even hard. I actually was talking about this the other day. there was a quote that was on that I talked about with Tulsi Gabbard, and then we read the article from Reason about the CDC, for instance.
Right.
Then I was like, you know what? I haven't actually went and found the evidence
Dude,
of them saying.
So I went back and tried to find that too.
And you
can't find it anywhere.
Right. So there was like this short period, but then that also talks about the fact, and this is what I was explaining to him, what's so scary about being someone who is like, I am a truth finder.
Watermelons, dude. We appreciate our Marines too.
The truth is, it's hard to find because, like, what if it changes? Like, there's stuff like wiki articles where a wiki article will say one thing about a person,
and then
you'll talk to someone about it, then you'll read it again, and
because wiki is open platform editable.
But even articles, they don't have to show what edits they made to an article. And there was actually a couple of different news organizations that were putting out articles, and the article would be something like, so like the URL, we'll just make it like, we'll say it with CNN. This wasn't CNN, but I'm just going to say it with CNN.
Yeah.
CNN.com/article/how to lose 10 pounds.
Right.
Okay. And the article would initially be like that, and it would be about losing 10 pounds.
Right.
But then they changed the content of the article to be like a hyper, like, leftist, social justice warrior article that's like way out there and like crazy
but
land.
It still says,
but it's been shared by millions of people as a how to lose 10-pound article.
Right.
But it's now an article about some hyper leftist, like, you know, progressive
ultra
policy.
veganism.
Yeah, ultra vegan. Yeah, sure. Like, and then the whole thing changes.
Yeah.
So now you don't even know, right? And that's why when you're going to retweet someone who says something like extremely stupid,
take a
you
screenshot.
should actually screenshot the tweet.
Yeah.
And then
well,
post
I
that
actually
as a tweet.
I actually use Geizo or Giza, whatever it's called. It's like you can select a section on your screen.
Oh, right. Yeah, I just use the Windows
screenshot.
clipping tool. Right.
Yeah. So the Windows clipping tool is okay. This thing is fast. Like, you just turn it on, drag, and it just pulls it for you.
And it's copy, right? Yeah. Stuff like that.
But like, you can't trust articles not to change anymore.
Right.
Over the course of 20 minutes.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You know?
And that's the other thing too, is that like they'll do like minor changes too. Like they'll make changes where they'll make one statement. I mean, a lot of stuff, like for instance, so we had that conversation where you and I were talking about Kyle Rittenhouse, and all the information that was out in the articles had you feeling a certain way, but then I could show you, no, that's not what was actually happening. Here's all the stories that show that. And then it's like, well, crap.
Where did those go?
Where did those go? Right. Why weren't those what I found? The only thing I found was one thing. So it's just the whole concept of what we're dealing with politically in the United States is not
I mean, I still feel
politically-
the same way about Kyle Rittenhouse. You're not going to change my mind on it, but, you know.
right. But I'm just saying that the facts changed.
Yeah.
So you can still feel like he was guilty of something,
Right.
but it might modify what he's guilty of. It
Right.
might, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
I still believe he's guilty of a crime.
yes, 100%.
But based on the information that I was initially given, I was like, murder one.
Murder, right.
And then looking at the actual information from other sources and finding out things like maybe it was manslaughter. Or, you know, at best, carrying a weapon across state lines.
Right, yeah, something, right. Like there was some crime. And so you just have to, you know, work through it yourself. But anyway, the first thing I guess that we could talk about that is current events is the impeachment trial. And here we go. Nobody cares. Moving on.
That's it.
There we go.
Hey, newsflash, America, he's not in office.
He's no president.
He's not.
No one cares.
Oh, I do have one thing to add to that.
Okay.
If they do impeach him,
yeah,
and it turns out that he's guilty of whatever, and it nullifies his presidency, right? And it erases it from the books.
Yeah.
That means that Donald Trump can run again twice and be elected for another 8 years.
Right. Yeah, I think people when they look at all this stupidity, the thing is they're ramping it up anyway.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know if you saw that article, CNN's ratings. So we'll spin this towards something else. Like CNN's ratings went down by like 60%. And then I think he stepped down. The CEO of CNN or whatever stepped down because now he knows that the heydays are over, right?
I can't make any more money. I'm out.
Let me see. Did CEO step down of CNN?
I know Jeff Bezos stepped down.
Yeah,
as
that
the
was
CEO
crazy.
of Amazon
Dude,
as
do you
well.
know how annoying that was? I try to open up my news feed to read articles.
Yeah.
Every single article was about him stepping down. Like I was like, do I
and
really?
And it doesn't really even matter.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Can I still go to Amazon? Can I still buy a dildo same day delivery? Yeah, sure.
Can I still buy 17,000 pairs of cheap garbage sunglasses for my kids to break and throw away?
You know, there was actually, it's funny
for
you say that.
$16.
There was a weird business model where people were going
to Tiger Direct and you buy a bunch of shit and you put it up on Amazon.
You go and put it up on Amazon, right? Yeah. And then you,
dude, do you know what the current trend is? Back scratchers. I shit you not.
Oh yeah,
back scratchers, bro. You buy them for 50 cents. 50 cents on like Alibaba
right, and then you go to Amazon,
Tiger Express. You sell them for $3.
Right.
You make a killing, and you don't even got to keep them in your house.
Right.
You can ship them directly from Alibaba to a warehouse that's owned by Amazon.
Right. And then they handle all the logistics.
And then they handle all the logistics.
Yeah,
you just
have
get paid.
one time. You can have Alibaba ship it to Amazon.
Yeah.
In one thing, and then tell them, like, here's the tracking and information and everything. And then they handle the rest. And you're done. And that's your whole business. It's pretty awesome.
If that's not the American dream, I don't know what is.
Yeah, so the executive who shaped the look and feel of CNN since coming aboard is expected to step down from his job at the end of the year. So that was 6 days ago from the New York Times. Yeah. So
Josh said, I've been had one of them.
What did he say?
A back scratcher.
Who needs a back scratcher?
I have a wife.
Yeah. I mean, like, and can you not reach your whole back?
I cannot.
Oh,
because of the damage I did to my shoulder.
Okay. Listen. All right. We know you hurt yourself overseas.
No, that wasn't even overseas. That was as a kid. That was a skateboarding accident where I was like skating.
Rub it in my face.
I was skating switch, right?
Yeah.
And I jumped down some stairs and just one gravel. Just beep. One.
Oh, yeah.
Just straight down on the neck and shoulder. Like,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can. So, like, when I look at people like need back scratchers,
yeah,
I'm
like, look, that's.
Yeah, see, look, I can go all the way to my middle back here. I can scratch here.
I can't do that.
Scratch here. Scratch all the way around. It's wonderful. Get longer arms. Not you. You injured yourself. Josh. Whoever else. Grow longer arms. Get some finger extenders. Look like salad fingers. Put some cucumbers and carve some holes in it. Okay? Look like salad fingers.
Look at salad fingers.
Yeah. Does everyone know about salad fingers?
Who here is old enough to remember E-Bombs World?
Yeah. Here, hold on a second. Do you guys not know? Oh my God, Jax doesn't know about salad fingers. Hold on, let me pull up pictures here. So,
is the video on there?
Yeah, there's videos on here. I don't want to show it because I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. But yeah, so this is salad fingers right here. Like,
oh my God.
He was like this weird British creepy guy, and he's like,
it's for so instance, funny.
Hello there, chaps. Those are his friends. He's put his little finger puppets on, and then like he was like, it's so rough, and he'd take his creepy finger and like roll it across stuff, and be like, I like how scratchy this is. It was just the weirdest.
I like how smooth the table is.
Yeah. That's what he is. It's crazy, dude. Yeah, salad fingers, if you're looking for like a good time, you want to be borderline creeped out because it has weird music behind it. Like it's just it's bizarre. It's an experience, and it's actually pretty funny. I think that this was made by like a 17-year-old that was learning Adobe Flash.
Yeah.
You know, and then
he was learning like Adobe Flash and Photoshop and stuff.
Right. And then he made this really creepy, hilarious video that is obviously a little bit viral. But so anyway, so back to just the impeachment thing. It literally, like, no one I know is talking about it. Like, nobody. And that actually kind of brings peace of mind to me.
Because nobody cares.
Because no one cares, right? It's like it's virtue signaling at the highest order,
right,
by the Democratic Party. And the thing is it won't make it. Because I believe, based on how the impeachment works, like, the Republicans aren't going to vote for it. So they're not going to have the votes for the impeachment to take place. So it's, once again, it's just they want it on the record that he was in an impeachment. Impeachment isn't the final. Impeachment is like the actual act of the trial, right?
Right.
It's not like he was removed from office.
Right.
So, because otherwise he would have been president for the last year and a half before Biden was president. So my point is that impeachment is just, it's like a negative notch in your record.
It's like getting an
Right.
Article 15.
I don't know what that means, but sure.
Oh,
Cool.
so Article 15 under Uniform Code of Military Justice
Uh-huh.
is like actual documented trouble. Like you did, like getting a speeding ticket.
Gotcha.
But there's like 3 levels of it.
Okay.
One of the levels doesn't even matter because it's like a summarized Article 15. It's like, hey, we're writing it down that you got in trouble.
You were a bad boy.
You got drunk and you peed in the lawn.
Okay, right. Yeah, something like a minor
Right.
infraction, like you didn't get.
But
Man.
the military doesn't really use them anymore because that's what counseling statements are for.
Okay.
So like one of those doesn't even matter.
Okay.
You have like company grade Article 15, which is like the next level up. It's 15 days of extra duty, 15 days of restriction, so you can only go to like your place of abode and work. That's it.
Okay.
And then you lose half your rank, or you lose your rank and like 1 rank down, and then half your pay for a month.
Okay.
And then you have the field grade Article 15, which is way higher. It's 45 days of extra duty, 45 days of restriction, a loss of up to 3 ranks, and loss of half of your pay for 2
Okay.
months.
But the very minor one, like it's on
Does
your
nothing.
record,
Yeah,
but it's
it's
on your
on your
record
record.
permanently.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what this
kinda what an
impeachment
is. It's the first leg.
Is it's
right?
just it's a counseling statement. Like, hey, we didn't like that you did that.
Yeah. Right. And
Don't do
so-
it again. Oh wait, he's not the president, then he can't.
Right. Yeah. Who cares? Right. Exactly. So I mean, that's just kind of what it is, and that's why I don't really feel like there's much to talk about on it. I think that people are way too, just
I
like
honestly,
we want drama, and it's like
I
can we just-
honestly want him to be impeached.
like you. Well, I mean, he has been impeached again. He just didn't.
Well,
get,
I mean, I want like the full punishment of the
oh
impeachment.
right, you want it to
Right.
go like to
I
the
want
extreme, right?
I want it to be like it erases the fact that he was president for 4 years, right?
Yep.
Because then he can run for another 2 terms. And I honestly, I think the man's a clown. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, the man is a clown. But
Wholeheartedly,
the man is a clown. But
right.
he did not sign treaties with Iran. He did not sign treaties with Iraq and Afghanistan
Right.
so that we could get oil from them and bring it over here.
Yep.
Which is more environmentally impactful
than just doing
than
our
just
oil.
having a pipeline.
Right. Yep. I mean, I personally believe the amount of money, like we could do the pipeline, but it needs
Yeah.
to be a final solution from a fossil fuel standpoint. I don't understand why we're not dedicating more time. So, like for instance, a lot
Because
of
it's
people
not
wanna talk about-
stable.
well, I'm talking about like coal miners, right? So a lot of people
Oh, yeah,
worry
yeah.
about coal miners and like Appalachia and stuff like that. That they don't want to lose their job because coal mining's been good to them. In a lot of ways, it has. Although
Right.
there's a lot of health. They're going to die a lot younger, and there's a lot of other.
I mean,
issues that
not
they-
really though. My grandpa was a coal miner and lived till he was like 84 years old.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. But there are some people that
yeah.
can have,
I mean, there are
they've done a
people that
lot.
get black lung, but
Right, yeah. But what I'm getting at is that there are health risks. There's cave-ins, stuff like that you have to deal with, yada, yada, yada.
yeah,
But what I'm saying is that when we go to them and we say, hey, look, we need to get away from, coal mining and fracking, and we need to get away from fossil fuels.
right.
What I don't understand is why is it not in the same thing? Like, here's all the subsidies we've been giving to coal and fossil fuels and fracking.
Right.
And we're going to take these subsidies, this subsidized money that we've been giving to them,
Right.
and we're going to help you learn how to put in solar stuff or make solar panels and then invest in us manufacturing solar panels here in the United States and have them working in these factories making those things.
Do you want me
and
to tell you
helping them
why?
install those things.
Do you want me to tell you why?
Why?
It's not stable.
It-
You can't effectively produce the same amount of energy that coal does.
Sure,
with
right,
solar.
yes. So coal is, yes, you're talking about the actual energy. But
Yeah,
my
yeah.
point is that if we have enough solar,
You
if we
you
did
can't
enough-
produce enough.
there are maps that show that if you were to take the United States, there is a solar panel thing, and they said if we had this much solar in this one state, it can power the entire United States all day because it's battery
No way.
technology. Yes,
No way.
absolutely.
No
if you have
absolute
energy,
way.
you can take the energy.
I'm a big proponent for coal. Just FYI.
I mean, that's fine. I think that, no offense, but it's not 1800. We have
it doesn't have to be
technology.
1800.
No, it is. Like,
How do
we're-
you? Okay, what runs the plants to build those solar panels until you get up and running?
Right, you
Coal.
have to have coal, right? But you have to phase. We need to phase away from those things. Go towards more.
So how are you going to build an engine to power a large truck to haul everything across the United States
at the beginning
without fossil fuels.
At the beginning, you
can't.
have to utilize energy from fossil fuels.
There's not an engine on the planet that is small enough and agile enough to produce the amount of power that a Peterbilt does.
You can get the power.
You cannot.
From hydro. You can use dams. You can use
No.
hydroelectric.
I'm saying in trucks to haul our stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, but I also think that we should go back to using electric trains. I think that we could go to train systems that can pull that stuff.
I don't think it would work as well.
But we don't know that. That's the point. And so instead of telling these people, hey, we're going to keep staying in this industry, and you are coal mining, listen, no matter what you say, either humanity is going to end, but coal mining is going to end. Maybe not in our lifetimes, but in the future, sometime, there is going to be no coal
But truck
mining.
driving won't.
Truck driving will continue to exist, but it won't utilize fossil fuels.
It absolutely will.
I do not think that we will be at that point. Like, I'm not even talking like next 80 years, maybe 200 years from now. We are not going to be utilizing fossil fuel.
Unless we strap a jet engine
No, I think
to a daggone
Tesla made a
locomotive.
truck. Tesla has a truck that has hauling power.
79,000 pounds of hauling power.
What I'm saying is it's all about scale. You just have multiple engines. They have multiple engines. They add in, and
Come
then it
on
goes.
now.
I do.
Do you
I
know
think
why
so.
Mercedes race car doesn't work?
I don't know.
They built a race car on electric engines. Do you know why it doesn't work? Because when it gets up to the necessary torque specs,
right,
it overheats and burns itself out.
Right, and it's
got
on the
4
battery
engines.
technology.
That's on the engine technology. It's got 4 engines, one on each wheel, to equal the same amount of torque for one gas-powered engine. And it overheats on its own.
But do you not think that we can't technologically figure that out?
I don't think we can.
I do think we can.
I don't think in the next 200-300 years that it's possible.
Oh, I definitely.
We don't have the cooling technology, and we're not focusing on the cooling technology.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is when you go to these guys, if we're going to say like, because if you want energy independence, one thing that can give you, because keep in mind, you're focusing on just cars, but your house could be fueled 100% by solar energy. Absolutely no issue at all. There are people that do it all over the United States, so it's not like it's a false
I'm not saying
fact.
there's not.
So what I'm saying is that if we could get the majority of our dependence on oil or fossil fuels, period, out of everyone's hands and just have it being done here, and then also push the technology and then make us the source for the rest of the world to get their solar panels. Like if we were to actually look into solar, if we were making better wind technology, if we were building those technologies in-house in the United States, you would employ those people. I don't think people that work in the coal mining world are stupid. I think that they're just smart enough. They're perfectly smart enough to take on a job in a different industry. I don't think that they're idiots. So I feel like for them, it's also like a soft bigotry against themselves of being like, well, this is our thing. And it's like, but you can do other things. Like you're literally putting yourself into a hole because you're making it seem like you can't do anything. Literally, putting yourself into a hole because you don't want to like change and adapt. And that's the side of like conservatism that I don't like, because it's like, well, it works. Well, yeah, but we should work towards making it work differently and work better and work efficiently. There is a giant ball of gas in the center of our solar system that we can utilize that energy. Why wouldn't we do that? That's very weird.
Because it's too hot to run a pipeline from it, man.
You're talking about I realized what you just said. Like my brain was like, what? What? No. So like, but my point is that if we have that technology, I'm not some kind of hippie. Like, I mean, I drive a gas car. I don't have a fuel efficient vehicle. I hate the flex freaking fuel efficiency mode on my wife's car because it sounds like I'm driving a little RC car. It's like, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm putting the gas pedal and nothing's happening. I get it. What I'm saying is we just need to look at things in a better way. And one of the ways that we could get off of our dependence on of foreign oil would be to invest.
Have a pipeline.
Have a pipeline initially, because we still need fuel.
Right.
Saying that it's like we're just going to go away from it is ridiculous.
What I'm saying is that we will never get completely away from it.
I think we will, but just not soon. But my point is that cars are the only thing that because all of your house and stuff is powered by coal right now. Like I think like 90%, because I can look at my bill and see like what the fuel sources are for my different power that I receive in my house.
Really?
Yes. And I think my house is 3% solar.
How do you do that?
Just go to we're in Indianapolis, IPL. You can go to their website and see, and you can actually pay for, like, if you believe in solar, you can actually pay an increased kilowatt hourage and then change your power from.
Can I pay less
solar-
to use coal?
No. Well, yeah, I mean, coal's the bottom rung. I mean, coal
Yeah.
and natural gas are the bottom rung. So like when people talk about fuel dependence, there's a difference between like motorized vehicles and like homes. Because the
Right.
majority of our energy consumption in the United States doesn't come from vehicles. It comes from this room, like this heater that we've got running here and the heater we have running here and all
Which
the
is
power
not
equipment
working
stuff.
a whole lot.
No, I tried changing the. Let me try this. Do that there. But what I'm getting at is that so when you look at our energy use consumption in the United States, a lot of it comes from buildings. That's really where it comes from. It's not from like moving cars and semi trucks going across the United States, trains, etc. They're actually a very small amount of our usage. It's air conditioning, heating, water treatment, all the stuff that we use it for.
It's
that's in
also
buildings.
making plastics, making tires,
Right, yes.
making.
I mean, in factories too. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you say that stuff, like factories, like it's not like my dad worked at GM, right? And he was in the metal stamping plant. They had these giant machines that are pouring liquid metal in and stamping
Yeah.
these doors or whatever. That's not being run on gas. It's not like they have a gas engine that's powering that machine. It's got 3-phase electrical power coming in, and it's coming in, but that electric source is coming from IPL. Like they're getting their
Right.
power from the power company. So my point is that it's not like they're running fuel there, but the IPL power company is getting their fuel from sources that are
Well, what I was saying with the tires
fossil
is
fuel,
like
etc.
fossil fuels create tires.
Sure, right. And there's other things too, but like
Right.
maybe we could be looking into. There's so many things we could be looking into. When we tell these people like we're going to take your jobs away because we don't want to push this anymore, I don't like that. That's like the end of the statement. Like with this cutting of the pipeline, I didn't want the pipeline cut anyway. I want the pipeline to
Right.
continue. But
Kept our gas prices low.
well, see, that's the other thing too is that people don't realize that gas prices also fall prey to like
Treaties and embargoes.
treaties and not only that, but I'm saying like people's confidence in the market. So like if my confidence in the overall market is low, gas
Yeah.
prices will go down. Like, and by me, I mean like the majority of people stop buying gas. I don't know why. Doesn't make sense to me. You still need gas to get places, but for
Yeah.
some reason, demand for fuel goes down, and then all of a sudden, gas prices go down. I don't understand it, but and there's more to it in play,
Right.
like sources, et cetera, et cetera. But there's just too many things that we could be looking into. And when we go to these people and we say like, well, you're going to lose your jobs. You need to have the plan of like, what's our next thing? And the thing that I've always said is that we should be working on getting other technology, mostly battery technology. Like solar's kind of hit a peak efficiency point on panels themselves
And
where
well,
it's like
and
17%.
like solar panels and all that rely on batteries to do anything anyway.
Right. Like you can use the direct power like this room. We
Yeah.
could probably light this room by having like
Not
these
today.
4 LEDs. Yeah, probably not. But 4 LEDs with my entire roof
Yeah.
probably be fine. But that's consistent power, but they'd be flickering constantly because you
Yeah.
don't have some kind of a regulator for the flow of the electricity, et cetera,
Right.
et cetera. So you have to have extra equipment. But battery technology is way behind. In fact, oh God, what was that? 8 years ago?
I mean, it's catching up pretty quickly.
It's good.
though.
And Tesla's pushing it, right? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, Tesla's pushing it. And if you look at their home systems, like that's who I want really bad for my house is I want a Tesla solar panel system because they use shingles.
Yeah.
The shingles themselves are solar panels, and
Yeah.
they're just shingles. They're not like giant panels.
Well,
like
I'm pretty
glued
sure
inside
they
your house.
bought out. So I had like a penny stock in this company that did like solar panel freaking blinds,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
And they went up to like 3 cents, and I was like, I'll sell it and reinvest in something else.
Right, yeah.
You know, it was literally a penny stock,
Right.
like
Literally like a penny.
a penny. I put.
I bought a bunch of Dogecoin, by the way.
I bought like $2 worth of these penny stocks. It went up to 3 cents. I dropped it, and because my buddy was telling me about something else. He was my former roommate, and then so I like pulled it out, invested in the other stuff, and then it just all crashed. And I was like, welp.
Right. But
I
they're-
lost $2.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that company got bought out by Tesla later on, like last year, because now Tesla is also making the solar panel blinds.
Right.
So they're like collapsible. They work just like blinds,
Right.
but they have little bitty tiny solar boxes on them. I don't know how that works.
Right, but it works.
I'm not a rocket scientist.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. These guys are literally
they're rocket surgeons.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I think that, but that's a cool thing to me, right? Like, imagine, if you will, that you didn't have to pay IPL because you have a battery system in your house and solar panels on top of your house, so you're not dependent on the power company anymore.
Right.
The only reason you would pay the power company is like $15 a month to give you power in case of something else going wrong, right?
Yeah.
But it'd be mostly the opposite.
Right.
You'd most likely be dependent only on yourself, even if the power goes out. Like what happened to us last night. Our power went out last night for an hour. And I was like, great, when we're having record low temperatures, I have no power, right? And it's not like I can heat my house because my kerosene heater that I have, that I used last time my heat went out, is in my garage, which I can't access because the power's out. See what I'm saying? Because my garage is disconnected from my house. So I now have to use my brain and bring that into the house. But anyway, that's a whole sidestep. That's just me talking about what was going on in my personal life. But anyway, my point, I see your face. And I was like, and I literally went, but I do have a door. I'm going to put a lock system on it because it's not hooked up to a garage door opener or anything.
You can't get into your garage.
No, because the guy that built my garage never built an actual door on the garage. So there's no, like just a normal 36-inch door. Like there's no door on mine. It's just garage doors.
But you can't manually open your garage door?
Yeah, because when your garage door is down, unless you get a thing and go and pump it up and then open the garage and then pull the cord that disconnects your door from the rail system, you can't open it. And I'm like, I don't want to do that when it's 2 degrees outside. So it's just one of those things like, but that's because I'm lazy. But anyway, that's what I'm saying is the dependence where if I had solar, first of all, it wouldn't matter anyway because I'd still have heat. So that's what I'm saying is where there's differences between like the entire industry and like movement of products and people too.
Yeah.
Like planes aren't going to be powered by fuel cells.
Solar.
You see what I'm saying? Like you're not going to have a plane that's doing that.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is like we're never going to be completely independent from fossil fuels.
Right. But then you look at companies, so like a lot of like the pollution, and we're talking about like, because we're talking about environmental stuff too, right? So you're talking about like emissions and stuff like that. The majority of emissions happening on the planet aren't actually coming from the United States. It's China and India. Yeah. Like it's absolutely crazy. And there's actually there was a documentary I watched that talked about it and actually said that those emissions would actually disperse around the whole planet, but they're all focused in the northern part, and that's what's creating so many issues because that's where the ice caps are. That's where all that is. It stays there because of United States farming methods. So what they're actually showing is it's not cows, it's not any of that stuff. The reason it stays at the top of the planet and doesn't disperse through weather patterns around the whole planet is because of the way that we till our dirt. And the way that we till our dirt throws a ton of carbon in the atmosphere. And they've shown that it's actually when we till our dirt, they were looking at maps of over year.
Yeah.
And every time is right when all of the United States is harvesting or tilling its ground up for harvest. So when the whole Midwest goes buck wild, with tilling up the ground, that actually throws a bunch of bad carbon in the atmosphere. It's not actually a whole lot of carbon. Like cows are a different gas, etc. I'm talking about carbon specifically. So those are all those things that we just don't understand yet, right? And by the way, that also puts pesticides. Like there's pesticides in the ice in Antarctica. There's pesticides because we use pesticides so much as a society because of our farming methods, which are bad and impactful on the environment. And it's like, but if you talk about this stuff, like you're labeled as some kind of like crazy left-wing hippie, but it's like, no, listen, man, like this is pretty basic science. Like you're putting nasty crap in the earth to keep stuff from living. Yeah. And then you're tilling it up and throwing it up in the air. It's pretty basic science. It's not like I'm making something up. But anyway, so yeah, I agree. We're not going to get away from fossil fuels completely. We need the pipeline. We need stuff like that. We need to be dependent on ourselves.
Well, I mean,
and we sit on one, if I remember correctly, we sit on like the largest fuel reserve right now.
Yes.
And we don't even use it
at all.
So yeah, we should probably be doing that and stuff like I get it. But I see. I don't even know how we got here. How did we get to pipelines and independence of energy and stuff?
I don't know.
Chat, how did we get here?
Salad fingers?
Yeah, dude, it was salad fingers. Anyway. So, no, we were talking...
We get on a real serious topic from salad fingers.
Yeah. No, we were just talking about the impeachment, right? And then we started, I don't know how the impeachment jumped to energy independence. Dear Lord, I can't see. So anyway, well, yeah, we'll have to check the VOD or whatever. But the next thing is you were wanting to talk about...
That was funny.
You had a TikTok video.
Okay.
Of a woman.
Yep.
Going off about a
black guy.
A black guy.
Yep.
A live streaming.
Okay, so
like I said, try to avoid like that R word and stuff. Try to coddle as best you can.
This individual has posted a TikTok video.
Okay.
And she's complaining about how there's a bias against a certain group of people.
Okay.
And how that certain group of people has flipped that bias so that we're now hiding information about this certain group of people, even though it's detrimental.
So we can go ahead and we can say that. So you're saying her message is that because we're so trying to make black people not look bad, if a black person does something, we don't talk about it because they're black.
Right.
Instead of...
Even if it's something super heinous.
If super saying heinous, right. Yeah, okay.
So the gentleman in question, it's not even in question. The guy that did it.
Right.
Because he live streamed it.
He live streamed, and I'll try to articulate.
He live streamed it on Facebook.
Right. So he live streamed committing a crime in which he had adult relations
No, I'm going to say that word because that's what it is.
Oh, yeah,
he raped and murdered two women.
Right. Yeah.
On a live broadcast.
Yeah.
On Facebook.
Right.
And there is absolutely no media coverage of it because he's a black man.
But do we know that? You know what I mean? Like, so that's
what she's saying.
Right. That's what she's saying. Okay. Right. Yeah. Let's make sure that's the.
I am of the viewpoint that they're not going to broadcast that anyway.
Right.
Because that is a super heinous crime.
Did you
like you not only raped and murdered two people, which is in and of itself one of the most despicable, horrifying things. Right. And as a person who's never been through that, obviously I'm still alive, duh.
Right.
And I've never been raped. As a person looking out from that and seeing it on the outside looking in, that's a horrific experience. Like I could not imagine anywhere close to that.
Right.
To live stream that.
Right.
And to have a platform not take it down. Until after everything was said and done.
Right. Yep. Which is interesting too, because they're supposed to have systems in place where people can, hey, what's up, Mr. Bean? We are talking about a story. Hey, Milner. We're talking about a story where a woman posted on TikTok. Her theory is that a story wasn't being covered because the individual who committed the crime was black, is not being talked about because we have shifted our focus so much into identity politics.
Right.
About like if a person who commits a crime is black, we don't want to talk about it because it will hurt like a more national or global stage image of the black community. Right. And then simultaneously, like if someone does something white, we want to focus on the fact that they're white or religious or whatever. My whole thing is, and this is kind of what I said to Mac when he sent it to me, my initial reaction was, my opinion is that rape and murder happen. So
they do.
I don't really care who they are.
Right.
We can talk about it. But at the same time, if it happened, like, the only thing about it, which is what Matt kind of said back, was that it was live streamed. And that's what kind of changes the article a little bit. But even then, like, if you're next door, like, not maybe your next door neighbor, like, you would care more, and I'm trying to, like, assign kind of a value system to people. You would care more about someone committing a rape and murder near you than, like, in Africa, for instance. Like, we'll go even more broad, right? Like, we'll just say out in Africa or China or some other country, right?
Right.
And so, like, when we look at stories, like, the locality of it usually has more of an impact,
right?
I think, to people. So it's not that I don't care, but it happens so frequently in the United States and everywhere,
right?
Not just the United States,
absolutely.
everywhere, that, like, I don't think the story should get any relatively different type of media attention than it would otherwise, right? Not because he's black or because he's white. I don't care.
I think what changes the dynamic there for me, right?
Right.
And why I think that it's not getting nearly as much coverage as what people think that it should is because it was live streamed to a platform like Facebook or Twitch or wherever.
Right. Yep.
That puts it in everyone's locality.
Right.
Right. So there's the potential that could show up on a news feed, that could show up in a recommended channel,
right.
You know, whatever. That puts it right in your hand. It puts it in your hand. It puts it on your computer. It puts it in your living room.
Yeah.
You know, wherever.
So did you see that stuff on Twitter about the guy who shoots his neighbors? Did you see that whole thing where there was the full video? So there was a guy's security camera with audio.
Oh no, I did not see
this
that.
Is insane.
I heard this. I heard about the story.
They were calling him. They were demeaning his manlyhood, using terms like that, and yelling at him. And they're like, everyone's out shoveling snow, right? And then they start arguing with him, and he just straight walks in his house, grabs a gun, comes out, shoots him, goes back in the house, comes back out, walks up to him, and the whole time you can hear these people like screaming for help because he didn't kill him. And then he walks up and
shoots him again.
Shoots him and kills him.
Oh, wow.
Literally. And then goes back in his house and ends his life before the cops get there. So,
oh, wow.
So this is all footage, right?
Yeah.
The only reason that it mattered was because it was online and the full video was released online. Like you could watch everything. It's like that. I don't like watching that. Like I understand it and you can explain it to me. I don't want to watch that kind of video. I don't want to watch someone lose their life. To me, that's terrifying and terrible. But what I'm getting at is that's the only reason that stage existed was because it was on the internet, right? But if that just happened even here, I wouldn't even know about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it just
no, I completely agree. And that's
so
and that's part of the issue, I guess, with this person's TikTok video. Is like it's probably not because he's black.
Correct. Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. It's
a white guy could have done the same thing, and they're gonna be like,
dude, remember when that dude popped his gun off on Twitch? Remember that when he was a dumb and he shot his gun on like an idiot on his stream, right? Yeah, that wasn't because some guy desk popped. It's because he did it on a live stream that everybody knew about it.
Let's look at other instances, right? So the guy who had the desk pop on live stream, he was live. He's an idiot.
Right.
There's a TikTok video, same kind of thing. Dude's got a gun. He's like, yeah, I'm a gangster. I'm a bang.
Right.
Like,
right.
Why do you have a gun?
Right. Yes.
I have seen literal hillbillies who have tons of guns.
Right.
Try to draw a .22 pistol out of a holster, trying to be Billy Badass. Shoot themselves in the foot, in the knee, in the leg. Like, you never hear about that.
Right. Exactly.
Because it's not on the internet.
Right. And they weren't trying to make a name for themselves, or they weren't trying to get some kind of notoriety.
They were just stupid.
They're just dumb. Right. So that's what I'm saying is like, what I would argue is that by her making this statement is also like, but you obviously care that he was black and you want it to have an implication on the black community. Last time I checked, the way I was raised is that we're all people and we all live and we all die. And that's it.
I was going back to our conversation before stream.
Which one?
We are all the children of God.
Right. Yeah. But yeah. So my point is that when you look at anything, I don't care.
Yeah.
Why someone did something. I don't even care that there was like Muslim terrorists, like the terrorists that were radicalized that performed September 11th.
Yeah.
I don't really care that they were. The point is,
I don't care that they're Muslim at all.
Right. They hijacked planes and they killed people.
Yeah.
There was a group of people that got together and committed one of the most heinous atrocities in human history in a single instance, right? I wouldn't say it's
right.
Like, it doesn't compare to the Holocaust or something.
Right, but in a single instance.
In a single instance, like one single attack, pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
And so, but my point is that's if we just looked at things always through that lens, the world will be a lot less exciting. And I don't mean exciting in a good way, just it wouldn't be as like high energy.
And you know, that's why I honestly think like the 2-year mandated service, like to the military, should be a thing. Like you get to pick your branch, cool, but you should go in and serve for 2 years, mandatory,
right?
As soon as you turn 18, Because the first thing they teach you is the guy next to you, he could be black, he could be white, he could be Asian, he could be Puerto Rican, he could be... His race and color doesn't matter.
Right.
You know what matters? He's green.
Right, yeah, it's green.
His uniform is green.
Right? Yep. Yeah.
His uniform is blue.
Which is, in and of itself, a form of tribalism.
It is kind of tribalism, but it teaches you not to look at the color of a man's skin.
Correct.
Like Martin Luther King Jr. said, don't look at the color of a man's skin.
Content of his character.
Look at the content of his character.
Right. It's really important. And so, like, with this guy, it doesn't matter that he was black.
Right.
Now,
it matters that he's a fucking murderer.
Right. Yes. And let's rewind to talk about it was last week when we talked about the 9-year-old girl.
Yeah.
There is a difference in that story where we do have to talk about race, because there's no way that if a white mom called the cops on her white daughter, that they would send 12 patrol cars with 16 officers to handle one 9-year-old white girl.
One 9-year-old white girl.
Because of the community, they automatically assign those things. So yes, that's why that story changes and why things change. There is a need to talk about racial identity in stories.
Yes.
But it's only when it makes sense. And the problem is that we don't. It's always balanced. People come into it. Right. Yeah. And so it's like, so I'll tell you guys, we sometimes try to like include like our outside lives. Sometimes after the show, we go and get lunch, right? That's what we do. We go to Taco Bell
because we're fatties.
Yeah, because we fat, man. How do you think I keep these boobs?
Sidebar real quick. Somebody posted on Instagram, was like, is it that her boobs are too big and she's stealing your viewers, or that your penis too small?
Oh.
So I responded to this person because I'm friends with him, and I was like, it's neither of those. It's because my boobs are too big and I need to exercise.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so we went to a store and we were talking about the Marine rapper and Topher.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how I wanted to talk to them about issues that affect the black community.
Which, by the way,
military community.
By the way, guys, they've been doing a big CD signing and pushing for a second #1 Billboard chart song right now.
Yeah.
So they're swamped.
I wonder if we can get them to give us written permission to use their song so that we can use it on
already done.
Great. So we should start using that as intros and outros and stuff and have that kind of
So they're also starting, they're talking and trying to do their own studio. So getting these independent artists, because it only takes $200,000 to start a studio, to start a production company.
That's awesome. And they're not going to just focus on rap, right?
And they're not focused on rap. They're focused on all independent artists, and they're not going to just stop distributing somebody's music because they say something that's not
that they disagree with or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like an actual freedom.
That's awesome.
Platform.
Right. So we were talking about them, and we were talking about how I wanted to have them on, because one of the things that I think is really interesting when you talk about race is there aren't a lot, like, here's a show I want. I want a white guy and a black guy to sit down and talk about racist stuff calmly. You know what I'm saying? Like, discuss things about...
What if it's two mixed brothers?
Sure. Whatever. I don't care. I just want... The thing is no one's talking about it anymore, right? And it's almost like we can't... It's kind of like how men can't have a voice on the abortion thing, which I think is also ridiculous. Men can't have a voice on abortion, and then all of a sudden... like white people can't have opinions on things that are happening in the black community or et cetera, right? So like I don't, and anyone like, or the Asian community having a voice or something, right? I don't care.
So there's actually an Instagram person that I follow, and she puts out really good content.
Okay. And
she stitched a TikTok together with a TikToker, you know, so they have the one video together. She's reacting basically to what this other lady is saying. And the other lady says, hey, we don't need to criticize black people or white people for getting in on black issues because, and she uses the analogy of a lock, right? And she gets real close up to the lock with her camera. And she says, so I'm going to show you right now that this is a lock. You can't really tell what it is completely because I'm way too close to it.
Oh, got you. Right. Yeah.
And she says, but if I pull back, you can see that this is a whole door and this is the lock on the door.
Right.
She said, as the black community, and this is her exact words, I'm not trying to take any credit for it or anything. She says, we need to allow other people into that space and allow them to look at it objectively. White people
Right.
need to do the same thing. We need to let black people look into our community
Yeah, 100%.
and say, hey, this is the kind of stuff that's messed up.
Right. Yeah.
We
and
all
we need to
need
listen
that.
to it.
And we need to listen to it.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's how you look objectively. If you're right here on a subject, you can't see it.
Right. Exactly. Can't see the forest from the trees, if you will.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So it's kind of one of those things. But anyway, so let me get back to why we're talking about this. So Mac and I were talking about how we would like to have that kind of a conversation and how we would do. Okay. So before I get into this, I want to acknowledge something in chat. I do not use TikTok because I do not kowtow to the Chinese overlords. That's my one conspiratorial
I'm on
statement I'll make.
veteran TikTok, just FYI. That's the
Okay.
only.
Right. So I don't look at TikTok because I don't, at some point, people don't realize that TikTok is going to do the same thing and curate the content that you see. And they're going to be able to influence your thoughts by what content is given to you.
I have met a lot of other veterans on TikTok.
Right.
That,
Which is awesome.
That just get on there and they do like little videos about like, hey, this is how I'm feeling today. This was the
Right.
fastest place that I could put it up. You know, if anybody wants to talk, I would love to reach out to somebody. And, you know,
Yeah, that's cool.
I'll be like, hey, DM me on Discord or DM me on wherever else. And let's actually talk. And I've met probably 100 vets on TikTok that I would have never met otherwise, of all ages, races, everything.
Right. Yeah, no, it's sorry, I'm laughing at Jack saying that she's made it to Cougar TikTok, which is hilarious. Okay,
oh my God.
So but what we were talking about is we were just wanting to have that conversation. And by the way, hey Kayla, I see you saying wow. I don't know what you were saying wow to. But wow. This whole thing has just been wow.
Right.
But no, so we were talking about how we were wanting to have that conversation with them about talking about Black Marine or Black Army issues and this patriot stuff, and like, you know, just having a conversation like on a larger scale. And then all of a sudden I stopped and I looked at him, and we had this moment where we were like, can you tell me the skin color or the race, if you will, of everyone in this restaurant? And we both had to sit there and we were like, no, like I can't even remember, because like we didn't know. But the thing is if you and then we both like, you know, turn around and look.
Right.
And it was the most
I think
diverse.
it was because I asked you, like, do you know what color the guy that handed our food was?
Yeah, and I was like, I have no idea.
I was like, I don't know either.
Right, I didn't even think about it. Because to me, it was just, I'm going to sound something that's going to make me sound like a dick, but like my brain isn't sitting there trying to think about what was the color of the skin of the guy who gave me my food.
Right.
He's just a person giving me my food.
Right. And
so it's like,
I made it, I said what I said to you, what I look at on everybody. Do they have tattoos?
Right.
What is their height and weight?
Yeah, it's more like general like shape.
Yeah, is it a boy? Is it a girl?
Right.
Do they have tattoos? If so, what do the tattoos look like? Are they big or not? Are they threatening or not?
Right. Yeah. It's more about like shape and scale versus like some form of.
And this is going to sound super weird to say it. It's like, for me, everyone's a shadow or a silhouette.
Yeah, a silhouette. That's how I see
with tattoos that pop out.
So for me, a big thing I look at is hair. I like when people's hair is done really cool and stuff. And
see,
so like
mine?
Yeah, it's great, man. It's super clean, kind of. You need to shave your head.
I do need to shave my head.
But when I'm looking at like I love when people's hair is like really like tall. I like tall hairstyles and stuff. So I look for that because I want to give them a compliment.
In the name of Jesus.
No. So stop.
That's where that comes from.
Oh, yeah, I guess you could say that, but it's more edgy, right? Because it's cut, because the women can cut their hair. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's things like that, but, like, I like when guys, like, that movie, help me out, it's a movie poster, two black guys, and their hair is literally, like...
High School High.
High School High, I think it's High School High.
Yeah.
And they have, like, these huge,
with the big
tall,
eraser haircuts.
Eraser hair,
yeah.
eraser. Dude, I love that. Like, when I see people with that hairstyle now, I'm like, dude, that's so awesome. And so, like, I like those styles of haircuts.
Dude, I have a friend I gotta let you meet then.
All right, good. Yeah, because I'm gonna just be like,
he's got hair like that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love when people have tall hairstyles.
Yeah.
Like when I play World of Warcraft, I play the female undead because she has Marge Simpson hair.
Yeah,
I can give her like a Marge Simpson. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it to you, but I'm just saying that's what I like. The point that I'm trying to make is that we don't think in a racial world. Like, and some people would argue that that's like our privilege, that we don't have to think about those things.
It's because you're white. You don't have to think about it.
Think about it, right. No, it's more like I remember sitting in borderline indoctrination classes in elementary school that were like, don't think about skin color. Don't think about skin
Right.
color. Don't think about
Right.
skin color. Where they segregated out the black kids and only had the white kids in the room and then talked to the white kids about racial
not
oppression,
seeing,
about not seeing.
right.
It was really weird, right? But the message rang true. The
Right.
kids got it. We got it. We were kids. We weren't idiots. And so my point is that I don't want to live in a world where we do things based off of race.
Right.
Because what it turns into is whataboutism. So it's like, and that's a huge thing that I have an issue with is whataboutism. Like you'll say, like in this instance, what this woman was saying about this black man. Well, no one wants to talk about it because he's black. I'm like, because what my immediate response could be as any person, either a person that's white or whatever, is what about this white guy that did it?
Right.
You didn't hear the media covering it either, right? So
let's
you see what
look
I'm
at
saying?
let's look at this. Right. That she said they don't want to cover it because he's black. There's a serial killer on the loose right now
Well, that's great.
who has literally killed, admittedly, over 300 people.
Okay. Is he
He-
white?
No,
Right. Okay.
he's Colombian.
Oh, he's like okay, gotcha. Right. So
So
I mean, in
no,
the end, like
no,
so, right?
Check this out.
Okay.
So he was in Venezuela,
Okay.
killed 53 people, led international police to 53 bodies that he had mass grave dug, boop, put him in there. They sentenced him at the maximum Venezuelan, whatever, 15 years in prison.
Cool. I don't want to live in Venezuela.
Nope. So he did 14 years, got out on parole.
Sorry, it's not funny because
It's pretty
messed
funny.
up.
It's
messed up.
It's so beyond just what my brain can comprehend.
Right.
So then he comes to America and he tells the FBI, hey, I've killed this many people. I'm just here to live my life.
Right.
And then proceeds to kill another 20 people.
Right. Yeah.
And now they can't find him.
Right. Great. Cool.
Fantastic.
Right. But we aren't talking about
That's not on the
fact that
news
he's-
anyway.
Right. Exactly. But it's just like
It's not that he's Colombian or
right.
Venezuelan.
He's a serial killer.
He's a serial killer.
right.
And that shit is terrifying.
Yeah. Do you
And
remember?
so they're not going to report on it because that raises mass hysteria.
Yep. I'm gonna talk about something here in a second, but I want to acknowledge something in chat. Someone said, "I hate the argument. You're white. You don't have to think about it. Like, no, if you want me to treat you equally, I'll treat you like any person. I don't care about your color." Right. So it's one of those things where it's like I feel so weird because one group of people was telling me like you need to acknowledge these things because as a white person you haven't seen them.
Right.
And then when I speak about the topic, they're like, you can't talk about it. So what that sounds like is sit down, shut up, and I'm going to tell you how to think.
Right.
That's what that means. Instead of
Speak only when you're spoken to.
no, they don't want you to speak.
Children are seen and not heard.
Right. Kind of. Yeah, that's kind of more the mentality is like
Yeah.
they're seen and not heard. And it's kind of like, no, I think that I should have a voice. Like, for instance, like when we talk about like what I was making a comment about earlier is like men and abortion.
Yeah.
Well, like, let's say that I don't want a kid, right? I can't make a woman have an abortion.
Right.
And then I'm stuck with child payments for the rest of my life because she chooses to have the kid. Like there is a point where men have an argument, or in my opinion at least, an argument or a place in the discussion around abortion. Just like anything racial. Like if you're making things about race, the moment you do that, it involves everybody because everybody quote has a race, even though we're all humans, right? You know
we're
what I'm
all
saying?
running the same race.
Yes, we're all the same race. I'm saying skin color. I got
you.
don't like the word race even.
I don't either.
Because that's actually from racists.
Yeah.
Who said that there were different races.
Right.
Does everybody get this? Like, stop using that term, right?
Look,
So
we're
it's
all
kinda-
pink on the inside, man.
Some of us.
No,
I'm a
really.
rep- I'm a
If you
reptile.
poke somebody and they just
Yeah, but I'm a
pink on the
reptile,
inside,
I'm green. So.
that's gross. You should
Green
have
goo.
that. You should have that looked
Oh,
at.
we watched Mars Attacks. I
You-
love it,
you
man.
should
Like the
have that
green-
looked at.
Yeah, I should have that looked at. Well, no, it's because I
Are you a
haven't.
lizard man?
I haven't. Yes, I am a lizard man, and I haven't eaten in several days, so it's green instead of instead of
Fantastic.
purple.
We're living in the world of V now.
Yeah, V. Yeah. So you. So yeah. So
No.
anyway, my point is that I don't understand all of these views and everything. But the point is, treat people with respect.
Yeah.
The golden rule is a great thing. It doesn't It
do unto
transcends
others
everything.
before they do unto you.
No, not that one. That's the Goldberg's golden rule. Not,
that's the mafia. Golden rule.
yeah. No. The golden rule of, I look at it like treat how you want to be treated. That's how I look at it. And so I call dibs on That's not.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
but anyway, so that was the other thing. But the point is that we're gonna take a step back here. We haven't really been talking to chat and stuff.
Yeah.
Something that was said earlier is Mjolnir Spartan said nobody is held accountable for their individual actions. I would argue that they are in a way that is almost the opposite of healthy, where we are taking people's individual actions to such extremes. Like we're like, oh, well, you said this one thing bad. Now I don't want you to have an existence. I don't want you to have any presence on social media. I don't want you to be able to get jobs, yada, yada, yada. We have hit that point where
it's the cancel culture. That's all you can call it, right? Is we're taking one little minute thing. Like I dropped the F-bomb.
Right.
Cancel him.
Right.
He can't have a show. He can't have anything.
Right. Yes.
We got to take his money. We got to take his house. We got to take his family.
Right. Yeah, we got to make sure that no one wants to love him. No one wants to be around him. We want to make him. I would argue that it's the opposite. I do think that it's not that we don't hold people accountable. I think that we hold people too accountable for things that they say and do.
Stuff.
Right. And so it's kind of one of those things like, I'm trying to think of a really good example where someone like made me frustrated, right? In a way that like, I mean, honestly, okay, we'll talk about my stream stuff. I mean, everybody makes me frustrated. Everybody makes everybody frustrated, right? At some point. So I'm trying to think like, so in my streaming community, a lot of people are like, you're really patient with people. And I'm like, yeah, because I don't just dump someone out of my chat because they did one thing wrong.
Right.
It's when they have a history.
Right.
It's when things start
when
to
you're
chain
a repeat
together.
offender.
Right. When you repeat offend and you keep doing stuff, that's when I take issue. And then I don't grandstand about it. I don't talk to people about it publicly. I will send you a direct message, or I will call you and say, "Hey, let's talk for a minute.
Yeah,
I want to have this conversation with you." And so, oops, what?
Oops, what happened? What happened?
Did something happen? Chat. Anyway, we'll keep going. My point is that you have to give people those opportunities, because if they aren't given the opportunity, then when you do that, you just push people off to the side and they don't learn to, I see.
Don't have patience with people. She don't.
So, yeah. And
she's a hammer.
Right. And here's the thing. I don't want a hammer because sometimes, too, it's the internet. They might be trying to see. You remember when you made the statement, sometimes I say things just to see how you respond because it lets me judge you as a person.
Yep.
That person could be doing it to me every time they come into chat. So I have to treat them like, and so sometimes like someone will come in and be like, you're fat. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, you're right. And then if they're like, no, I mean, literally, dude, you're super obese. You need to get help. That is when I'm like, no, I don't think I do. Bye. Right. But maybe he just says that to see how I respond, to see if I'm some kind of like sissy that can't take somebody joshing me. And then he's like, well, then I'm gone anyway. Either way, it's going to go one of three ways. He didn't like my response, so he jets.
Yep.
2, he likes my response, he stays. Or 3, I don't like his response and I make him leave.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Those are your 3 options.
And see, that's how I am in my chat too. And like Jackie knows my limits. She's been my moderator since I started streaming.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so like she knows my limits, and I'll let people talk a little shit.
Right. But there's a point where it's like,
But there's a point where I start to get upset, and then I'm going to light into him. And
and
I don't care what I say.
Yeah. And she's also going to stop it because she doesn't want that to be your content.
Right.
As you like raging on people in chat. Right.
Right.
So I get it. Right.
Sometimes it's funny. Like
sure. Oh, sometimes I'll get goofy, man.
Sometimes dude, I roast people so hard sometimes. And I just based off of their name and what they said in chat. I don't have to know you as a person.
Right.
Yep. I don't have to know anything about you to tell you that I'm going to come to your mom's house and eat your cookies.
Right. Yeah.
That's putting it lightly for this podcast.
Yeah. Right.
But I'll do it.
Right.
I could have never seen you.
Right. Yeah. I've had people come into my chat and like I've roasted them. Right. Yeah. And it's good.
And they stay.
This goes back. See, look, there's threads that go through. Internet punching in the face.
Yep.
If you tell people immediately, like you're just not allowed to speak here in my chat or on Twitter or whatever your forum is, if you will, then all that does is makes those people go to a place and then they gather, and then it's even worse, right? And so it's just overall, what I'm saying is when we look at individual actions, at the same time, you know, it's like last night we were talking about freedom of speech because my buddy is very much on the side of Twitter being able to ban people and Facebook being able to ban people because he's like, it's a private business. If they don't want that on their page, then that's fine. And I was like, okay, that's a true statement. They are a business.
Then I want people back in my bar.
What do you mean? Sorry.
If they're a private business and they have the right to do that, then the bar that I work at is a private business, and we want people back in there because we like having their money.
Oh, right. Yes. Okay. So, but what you're talking about is they think as a company that those people being allowed on their platform is a negative, that they're not going to make as much money because what happens is organized groups on the left. No, this happens. Organized groups on the left will be like, you're letting this white supremacist, and I'm not going to say a specific person or something.
Right.
They'll say, you're allowing this white person. We're now going to call everyone that we see advertise in our feed and tell them we're not going to buy your product because you advertise on a platform that allows a white supremacist to speak.
Right.
And so then those companies, because they're scared, they yoink their ads, and then Twitter's revenue goes down. So that's what I'm saying. That's why they do what they do, right? That's their business model. And so when you do that,
but that's stupid.
Once again, we're getting down in the weeds. What I'm trying to get at is that in the situation where they've moderated these things out, it doesn't allow for them to say the stuff and then the debates to happen, right? Like people to have the conversation. Whether it's good or bad or ethics of the business or morally correct or legal,
and
that's a whole different
conversation.
conversation.
And on a large scale, that really creates more division.
Correct. People need to be expressing it. That's how I believe,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But I don't know how you can solve both issues of it being a private company and allowing people to have public conversation. Does that make sense? So that's like a bigger debate.
Just do what MySpace did.
Go out of business, basically, and stop existing?
Don't be a dick and ban people for having a conversation.
Right. So what I'm getting at
is... the only reason MySpace went out of business, all right, is because Facebook was like,
okay,
hey, we have a leaner platform.
I used Facebook before it was open to the public. I used Facebook as a college student.
But they had a leaner platform.
Well, but it was also so originally Facebook was in the movie. It kind of explains it was just on that one college campus. Or whatever. But then he opened it to all college campuses.
Right.
And I remember being on Facebook and going in and selecting my college and then selecting what classes I was in, who my instructor was. And then there were discussion groups on how was the professor? Like it was rating how the professor was as a professor.
Yeah.
And I could look at the class and there'd be like 3 professors for a specific class.
Yeah.
I could choose which one was rated best by students. And then people explain stories. Facebook wasn't like social media. It was more like a Yelp for college campuses.
Yeah.
And it was like a way to network with other students, and there were study groups and stuff, and it was actually really neat.
And MySpace isn't out of business.
I know. It's just
real small.
Yeah, it's just MySpace, right? And so what I'm getting at is that like Facebook evolved, right? And it changed, and then it became like, and then it extended down to high school. So it was like college, and then they allowed, as long as they were, I think, 16 years of age and they were in high school, they could do it. And then it expanded further. And then it started being like, well, we'll just let everybody in because everybody loves this app. But I mean, you couldn't even really share pictures and stuff on original Facebook. You had a profile picture and you had pictures of yourself.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pepperidge Farm, right. Yeah. I mean, I'm old enough to remember. I'm old enough to remember when YouTube was gray and dark brown or light brown and yellow.
I remember.
Yeah.
When YouTube was just the word. It didn't have that play button.
Yeah. I mean, like, there were ways that, like, the internet looked. Like, dude, do you remember eBay? I was actually reading, did you know how eBay used to have a yellow background?
Yes.
And the eBay search box in the middle, right?
Yep.
And then they tried to just switch it to white.
Yeah.
And everybody lost their minds and was like, oh, it's ugly. So what they did is they took it and they changed the color by
gradually.
one small degree towards white until it was done, and it took like a year.
Yeah.
And then it was white, and then everybody was down and cool with it, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, those types of things were happening. We were there, okay? I was born
there for
in this
that
stuff, right? And so, but what I'm getting at is that with these sites, so when you're having these conversations and you're talking about, like, what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing, in the end, the problem is that nobody wants to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot easier to just ban people. Like, I actually thought Twitter, after Trump went away, I actually thought Twitter stock was going to go down. Twitter's stock has been climbing. Like, confidence in Twitter in the market is going up because of what's happening. People are pro Twitter, and I'm very confused by this because it seems very counter. Like, their user base went down by 60,000 accounts. They banned like 60,000 accounts after January 6th. So, like, I don't know. It's just like stuff that doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. And they're going down in use. Monthly active users on Twitter is going down, but their stock is going up. So, like, people believe in this censorship kind of a platform creating the safe space. I don't know. I don't understand it. It's weird to me. I don't get it. But
the whole safe space thing just bothers me.
Well, right. I mean,
to be honest,
I mean, there's the problem is, so like my rule in my community, right?
Yeah.
The nameless community / casually sweaty community is be respectful of other people.
Yeah.
If you can't read my number one phrase that I've been saying for the past year and a half is read the room.
Yeah.
If you can't tell that you're pissing everybody off by talking the way that you're talking,
you don't need to be there.
You don't need to be there because you aren't reading the room, right? And you need to learn to read the room. Read the room, man. Like, you're not making anyone happy by being the way that you're being.
Yeah.
And that just ties into like a bigger issue too of like talking about how do you deal with people, like we're talking like and how do you help people? Do you be a dick or do you try to make it constructive? I used to think that people that would say like keep it constructive were being kind of pansies.
What about
and stuff
like
like
constructively dicky?
I mean, that's kind of where I try to stick.
That's
it's right there in the middle, right?
That like gray area.
Gray area, right? But I think that there are people that just always go into asshole mode. So, like, to use WoW as a reference, like they'll call someone out in the middle of a fight and like almost like feel like they want to start an argument with like, why are you so stupid? Why would you do this in the middle of the fight? That's not constructive because one, you're not keeping comms clear. Two, there's just so many things that
you're not telling people what you need.
Right. You're just telling them what they did wrong as opposed to what they could have done right.
Yeah.
There's so many things that it leads to, and that's why the conversation, how we approach things is very different, right? And so, like, I just feel like safe spaces as a whole is a bad way of going.
Yeah.
But being the exact opposite
is also a bad way
of going, right? You have to be in that middle spot.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like I don't know if we want to talk about that, but like, remember that time you sent me that picture and you're like, what do you think of this? And I was like, that looks like hot garbage. And you're like, I agree. And when I voiced my opinion, everybody was mad at me for making that statement. You know what I'm talking about for that promotion picture?
Oh,
yeah. See what I'm saying? So like they couldn't handle
it. Was hot garbage.
Yeah, it was hot garbage, right? And like, so could you have communicated it in a different way? Probably, but the point was made that it was garbage. So they should have thought about it.
And I remade it anyway.
Right. And you right. So that's
they
my
didn't
point.
even ask me to.
Right.
I just
did it right instead, which also shows that it's like this is hot garbage. Here's something better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like it's still constructive.
I also got a contract out of that, so like I make money off of it weekly.
Right? But in a lot of people's circles, that kind of communication is considered abrasive and aggressive and triggering.
It's business.
And but it's business. Like I gotta get stuff done, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm here to make money. I'm not here to
placate you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not here to make you happy. I'm here to make you money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the.
I mean, and that's again one of those gray areas. Like, do you make them happy or do you make money?
I try to make money.
I would like to do a little
bit of both, right? Yeah, I mean, but
like if I make a good product, they're gonna be happy, and I make money.
Right.
I don't have to be nice about it.
But yeah. So anyway. But yeah. So I think we tackled that. I feel like people that statement of like us not judging people on their individual actions. No, I agree. Every single one of those people at the Capitol were idiots. I don't care. Like I'm gonna take it and then articulate it to a very specific instance of something happened.
Oh yeah.
Each person as an individual was an idiot.
That went into the building?
Right, that went into the building and did that stuff. They're an idiot. They're not a patriot. They didn't make some good stance. They didn't do anything.
They're a very warped version of a patriot.
Well, they can call them a patriot all they want.
Yeah.
But the general consensus is that they were dumb.
Yeah.
Both people on the right, people on the left, look at that and go, because it's like even the people on the right that thought that, some kind of insurgency was a good idea, they didn't accomplish anything.
Nothing.
So it was dumb.
And
if anything, it was detrimental.
On the same hand, right? The riots and burning down businesses.
Detrimental. Dumb. It doesn't work. It does not work.
It does not work.
It makes people mad. Had they not slowed down, Biden would not have won.
Yeah.
They slowed down those riots and stuff, and the media stopped covering it nearly as much because it was hurting Biden's image.
Yep.
And so, I mean, I don't care either way. It's just Biden, but I'm just saying that the media did that intentionally.
Where am I?
Yeah. Oh man, I read a headline.
I had to.
That said.
So then I had all these cockroaches trying to grab my hair.
It said that the headline is Joe Biden's strategy during Trump impeachment process. Just shut up and stay out of it. And I was like, that's been his whole thing for the past 9 months. The moment that the guy gets in front of people, everybody's like, I don't know if he's all there.
Does this guy have Alzheimer's or what's happening?
Yeah, right. Yeah, like they feel like something's weird. And I'm not here to bash Biden. I'm just saying, like, I would bash whoever it was.
Did he forget how to read just now?
I would argue with Trump. It's the exact opposite. Like, I'm like, that dude just needs to shut up.
Right.
Like, he just needs to shut his mouth.
Did you proofread this tweet before you put it out?
No, he did not. No
Absolutely
way, bro.
Absolutely not.
Oh, Covfefe, man. He doesn't proofread anything. So, I just, anyway. I don't have much more to talk about.
I don't really either.
I'm good. I think that we've hit some topics. I'll have to rewatch today and find some clips. But
yeah,
I appreciate everybody being here today, and you guys were awesome. And I enjoyed it. We had new faces.
We did have
new faces, and people talking about
guys.
Stuff.
All the new followers. Thank you so much, for coming.
We don't have alerts on because this is like being recorded, and then we're utilizing it.
And it's a podcast,
and we don't want to. Yeah, it's more of like a vodcast that we don't want to like have it muddied up with like a lot of imagery and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Anyway, I appreciate everybody being here, and I think that's all I got. So
see you next Tuesday.